Dear colleagues, my name is Alexandra Maruniaková, and I am a PhD student at the Faculty of Education at Trnava University. Today, I would like to present the research of our team entitled Pupils' Attitudes as an Indicator of Environmental Education in Preschool Education. In this presentation, I will focus on how children's environmental attitudes can serve as an analytical indicator for evaluating the impact of environmental education in different preschool educational settings. In the introduction, I would like to briefly outline the broader context of this study. Contemporary society is facing multiple environmental challenges connected to long-term unsustainable resource use, urbanization, and increasing consumption. These processes influence not only ecosystems, but also social structures and value orientations, affecting the quality of life of present and future generations. Education plays a key role in responding to these challenges. Environmental education, in particular, aims to foster environmental awareness, value orientation, and responsible behavior. Its importance becomes especially significant in early childhood, when fundamental attitudes, habits, and behavioral patterns are formed. Pre-primary education creates space for developing environmental sensitivity and relational thinking about the connection between humans and nature. Contemporary pedagogy therefore emphasizes not only knowledge acquisition, but also the development of values and responsible action. Environmental education is typically implemented as a cross-curricular area, integrating cognitive, emotional, and behavioral components of children's attitudes. In recent years, alternative educational settings, such as forest kindergartens, have gained increasing attention. These settings emphasize direct experience, outdoor learning, and everyday contact with nature. However, the actual influence of such environments on children's environmental attitudes remains an empirical question. Therefore, this study focuses on children's environmental attitudes as an analytical starting point for evaluating environmental education across different educational settings. The research was designed as a quantitative descriptive study aimed at identifying the current level of environmental awareness and environmental attitudes among preschool children. The methodological framework was based on the study conducted by Biber and colleagues and was adapted to the Slovak educational context. The research sample consisted of 154 children aged 4 to 6 years. One group included children attending 2 public kindergartens in the city of Trnava, while the second group consisted of children enrolled in 7 forest clubs located in different Slovak cities. The aim was to compare children from a traditional preschool environment with those educated in settings characterized by everyday contact with nature. Data collection was carried out using a linguistically and methodologically adapted scale of environmental awareness and attitudes. Children evaluated pictorial environmental situations using a 3-point rating system represented by colored cards. Each dimension consisted of 10 items, with a maximum possible score of 40 points. Statistical analysis was conducted using Statistica 11 software. The normality of data distribution was tested using the Shapiro-Wilk test. As the data were not normally distributed, differences between groups were analyzed using the Mann-Whitney-U test. In the results section, we first present the analysis of demographic and social variables within each type of preschool institution. In public kindergartens, none of the examined variables showed statistically significant differences in either environmental awareness or environmental attitudes. In forest clubs, sibling status emerged as a statistically significant factor. Children with siblings achieved higher levels of environmental awareness as well as environmental attitudes compared to only children. All other examined variables, including gender, age, type of residence, type of housing, presence of pets, and age of siblings, did not show statistically significant differences. Having examined these within-group factors, we now turn to the direct comparison between the two types of preschool institutions. This graph presents a comparison of environmental awareness between children attending forest clubs and those attending public kindergartens. The analysis did not reveal a statistically significant difference between the groups. The mean values were comparable across both types of institutions. These findings indicate that the type of preschool institution did not significantly influence the level of environmental awareness in our sample. A similar comparison was conducted for environmental attitudes. Figure 2 presents a comparison of environmental attitudes between children attending forest clubs and public kindergartens. The analysis did not reveal a statistically significant difference between the groups. Although the mean score was numerically higher in forest clubs, the difference did not reach statistical significance. These findings indicate comparable levels of environmental attitudes across both types of preschool institutions. Our findings regarding the absence of gender differences in preschool age are consistent with the studies by Musser and Diamond and Larson et al., which suggest that environmental attitudes and orientations in children aged 5 to 6 tend to be relatively universal and not yet systematically differentiated by gender. Similarly, residential and housing factors did not emerge as decisive variables. In line with Krufek et al., the results indicate that in early childhood, the quality of mediated experiences may play a more important role than objective environmental conditions themselves. This also relates to the broader family context. The findings suggest that spatial and material characteristics of the home environment alone may not be decisive, whereas the value-oriented and experiential background of the family may have greater relevance in shaping children's environmental orientations. The presence of pets did not appear as a statistically significant factor, although some studies point to a potential positive effect of contact with animals. Mere contact with animals does not necessarily translate into measurable differences in children's environmental attitudes, particularly when it is not part of intentional educational practice. With regard to institutional context, the literature on nature-oriented and Montessori education suggests that the effects of educational environments may be selective rather than uniform. Yates and Ahi and Kariman Pamak indicate that differences may be reflected more in the content of environmental concepts than in quantitatively measured levels of environmental attitudes. The theoretical foundations of nature-based and Montessori-inspired education emphasize the importance of a prepared environment, child autonomy, and learning through direct experience. At the same time, these principles do not necessarily lead to measurable differences in quantitative indicators of environmental awareness and attitudes. Overall, the findings point to a relative homogeneity of environmental awareness and attitudes among preschool children, while highlighting the importance of the broader social and family context in environmental learning. Thank you for your attention.